Hey everyone, I'm going to introduce myself today. I am Tara and my channel is Kill the Scale, and I'm really glad to be part of this channel. I've been tracking it since it started and I think it's a great idea. So I'm glad to be hosting with Fran because Fran is one of my good YouTube friends and I think she's awesome. And a little bit about myself. I am a student at Utah Valley University and right now working on my undergraduate in behavioral science with an emphasis on social work. I am graduating this summer. I've applied to 2 MSW programs and I've started doing some research on eating disorders. I also do public speaking and I am co-authoring a book. And that which brings me to the point of the question that was asked today, and that was about the cycles of recovery. And I'm going to show you a model that I've come up with my co-author that we've been working on for quite some time. And this is it. It's the stages of an eating disorder. Let's see if I can get it so it's more centered. Now, as you can see, we talk about the development, protecting the disorder, confronting the disorder, and then we get to the recovery stage, which is choosing recovery. And as you can see, there's an inner arrows that go through the eating disorder, and this is the natural cycle of an eating disorder. So we start going through recovery, we find out it's not easy as we think it is, and then we get to a point where we kind of accept it, and then we relapse, and we do it over and over again. And the reason why that is, I think, is because an eating disorder, it's an illness, but it's also somewhat of an addictive cycle. And so I don't think it's most people that have eating disorders, I don't think it's their fault that they find themselves in that situation all the time. But recovery is a choice, and we have to choose recovery. And I think what happens, because we have to deal with food as our addictive cycle, it's harder than, say, like a drug addiction where you could go to rehab, you could get treatment, and then you can avoid the drug or the substance. You can't avoid food, so it makes it a lot more difficult and challenging. And what kind of happens is we go through this cycle and we recover, we do really well, and then something triggers us and we go right back into the eating disorder. But hopefully the cycle goes into an upward spiral, and sometimes we get ambivalent about it because it's a long road, it's frustrating, and it's frustrating when we do well and then we relapse, and then we do well and then we relapse. It's hard on those around us, it's hard on our families, and so it can lead to some guilt about relapsing, and it kind of gets us to where we're self-defeating because we feel bad that we can't just recover and can't just change our mindset. And, that's part of it. It's a disorder. And with a disorder, it's not like you're going to change it overnight. And, a lot of times medication can help us, but it doesn't fix everything, and it's a constant. We have to work and work until we get better. And the reality is, I don't know if everybody is going to get to a point where they're not fighting the mindset. I know for me, I've actually gone, years without having eating disorder thoughts, and then being triggered and it coming back, and going back and forth between different addictive patterns, because if we give up our eating disorders, sometimes we switch to other addictive patterns, whether that's in relationships, substances, diet patterns, whatever it is, because there's an underlying personality coping issue that we have. So it can take some time, and sometimes it's natural to feel ambivalent, and sometimes you just have to go through the motions until you get back to where you feel good about it. I mean, I still have lots of moments where I go through and I'm like, I don't care and I don't want to fight this today, but I have to keep myself accountable. It's important to have a support team, to build up a support team around you, because that's It's part of recovery. And if you don't have that, it's a lot more difficult to get out of those situations when you do have those situations. So that's what I would recommend, is find a support team. Don't keep it a secret from everybody. If you keep it a secret, it's going to be hard, if not impossible, to recover. Ed thrives on secretness. So that's my answer to your question, and I hope you have a great Monday.